What's good, family? So mash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. Wow, your man's the YB has got a crazy update as it pertains to Manny Pacquiao and the conspiracy involving Team Spence, Al-Heyman, and a whole bunch of hitmen, a whole bunch of state-sponsored, PBC-sponsored hitmen dons, no doubt. Yeah, these cats. This video is going to expose with pure facts and proof Spence-Haymon cabal conspired against Manny Pacquiao. And it's crazy. If you follow my channel, go look at the videos. We've got the evidence there, no doubt, 100%. We've got the sources, we've got the leaks. Again, I can't spend, it'll take me an hour to explain it all. What you're going to have to do is, if you want to get the full context, go on my channel and look over the videos over the last 6 weeks, ever since Errol Spence faked his eye injury, and we prove so. Anyway, let's get to today's topic. Yesterday, your man's the YB exclusively broke the news that Manny Pacquiao had fired one of his key, I'd call him probably the number three general in Manny Pacquiao's team, Justin Fortune. Now, Justin Fortune is responsible for Pacquiao's strength and conditioning. He is the number 3 dude. Yeah, you got Freddie Roach, you got Boy, and you got Justin Fortune. The number 3 man's gone. Now, at the time when we broke this news, the reasons Justin Fortune gave were, to be honest with you, overreactory. Didn't really make much sense. But that was before one of my sources within Manny Pacquiao's team actually reached out to me and said, "Listen, YB, I saw your video, and I got to tell you, got to call a spade here, because all we've heard from is from Justin Fortune's side of thing. He's been sitting there spinning more web of lies. Yeah, these PBC cabaldons, these PBC hitmen, they stay spinning narratives, no doubt. Anyway, again, let me give you a little piece of background still. Manny Pacquiao is in the middle of a leg gate conspiracy against him. Leg gate, cramp gate. What we know is Manny Pacquiao's legs were cramping up at the start of the fight. That's a fact. Now, Justin Fortune was fired because Freddie Roach allegedly was airing him out about the fact that Justin Fortune didn't prepare him properly, and it was basically Justin Fortune's fault that his legs was cramping. That's what Justin Fortune has alleged. However, what I've been told today from a source inside Manny Pacquiao's team, the real reason he got fired was because Team Pacquiao allegedly suspect your man's Fortune was the one responsible in bringing in the cramping agent into the camp. Now, what is the cramping agent? Again, check the videos out from the last few weeks since the fight. The cramping agent is a substance an insider, a PBC paid inside man, a paid hitman, put into Manny Pacquiao's water. And these people don't realise, you don't understand, there's a lot of designer substances going around these days. Yeah? These Russians and these Chinese dons, they be doing the most with the designer substances. I'm telling you, PBC sourced. You man don't get this. This conspiracy's been going on 8 weeks before. People say things like, "YB, how would they have had time to get a designer cramping agent?" Well, what we know is Ugas was told 6 weeks before Errol Spence pulled out that he was going to be the one fighting. That's why he was so prepared. Again, this isn't a quick thing. This is a 2 to 3 month conspiracy. Ever since Manny Pacquiao signed to fight Errol Spence, Spence-Haymon, the Spence-Haymon cabal, have conspired against Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, they had no intention of fighting him. All they wanted to do was take his belt, give him a loss, and run off. That's why your man's Errol Spence on fight night, what did he say? "Oh man, we don't want to fight Pacquiao anyway. We out of here. No, there's no point fighting him. He don't have a belt, man. He didn't have a belt when you were supposed to fight him the first time. Oops." Yeah? These dudes wanted to rob Pacquiao, cheat him out of his resume, cheat him out of a loss, and run off. And they've used a number of PBC sponsored hitmen. Ugas, PBC sponsored. He was told 6 weeks before, "Listen, You're going to be fighting Pacquiao. Make sure you prepare exactly for Pacquiao. You ain't going to be fighting no one else. Meanwhile, Pacquiao's preparing for a southpaw. 10 days before he gets thrown in with a man who's been preparing for him for a whole damn camp. And Pacquiao's a 42-year-old man, which means that it's hard to adjust to them kind of things at the best of times. We're talking about a whole different way of fighting. Orthodox versus southpaw. So it's no big surprise. People were saying, oh, wow, how was... Ugas is so amazing. What we know is Ugas is an alright fighter. He's an average world level fighter. Let's not make out he's the best in history ever. He never should have been that prepared on 10 days notice. Oops, he didn't have 10 days notice. Now, again, as far as this video goes, I'm just giving you, man, some context here to understand what's really been going on. 8 weeks before the Manny Pacquiao versus Spence fight, Team Spence were conspiring to defraud Manny Pacquiao into a loss, 100%. And one of the vehicles they used was a cramping agent. Yeah? We know how HITMAN is involved in some seedy cabal things. He contacted one of his China or Russian dons and they created him some next cramping agent substance. And they put it in the PBC provided complimentary drinks. Now if you go to any big fight, every fighter, they put a whole table full of drinks. And if you look carefully, go and watch the footage. Guess what? Normally, how it works is, if fighters are on their... If fighters' teams are on their game, you're meant to use your own drink, use your own juices. And how not? I seldomly see fighters being provided with the bottled water. The bottled water is the complimentary stuff. That's the stuff you get at a hotel. That's the stuff that PBC's put there. Yeah. Normally, though, we see fighters using their own proper drinks bottles. A drinks bottle, you know, the ones where the reusable ones. That's what we normally see used. A reusable drinks bottle, and the fighters put their own drink in there. That's not the case for this fight. In this particular fight's case, Pacquiao versus Ugas, Pacquiao was being provided with, guess what? The standard PBC provided complimentary cheap water as such, bottled water. Oops. And what do we know? Guess what? Of all the people, who is the one who's almost forcibly providing Pacquiao with this PBC provided drinks water? Oh, it's your man's Justin Fortune, who's just been sacked. Oops. Yeah? Is it amazing? I don't know about you, man, yeah, but look at the picture. I've never seen, in all my years of watching boxing, I've never ever seen two men providing one fighter with drinks. Normally you have the trainer, you have the cutsman, and you might have someone giving a drink. Why have we got two men providing one athlete with drinks? Oops, I'll tell you why. Boo Boy, we know, was not the inside man. He was not the PBC sponsored inside man. He was not the hitman. Boo Boy is doing what Boo Boy should do. Boo Boy was in there confused, not understanding why his legs were cramping up. That's why you can hear the Filipino exchange between Pacquiao and Boo Boy. Boo Boy's saying, what's going on? Are your legs cramping? Boo Boy's reacting and trying to give Pacquiao some water. Meanwhile, though, your man Justin Fortune, and by the way, in this fight, Pacquiao had quite a lot of face damage. So, why was there two men giving him water for? Where was the cutman at? Oops, I'll tell you where the cutman was at. Justin Fortune had pushed him out of the way and was trying to get his water bottle all in the face of Pacquiao. And unfortunately, guess what? Who ultimately provided Pacquiao with fluids? Your man's Justin Fortune. Is it a coincidence? I'm sure that all the PBC and Errol Spence and Al Heyman shills will tell me, oh no, it's a coincidence. It's a coincidence. The man that's fired within 3 weeks after the fight. And don't forget, this whole leg cramping agent, this whole drink tampering conspiracy thing, I haven't just come up with this 2 days ago. This was hot off the press. The evidence is there. 1 day after the fight, I told you I'd heard from one of my PBC sources that Al Heyman and Spence had set this all up, and they'd put cramping agent in Manny Pacquiao's water. Now, what I didn't know at that time was, I just thought it was a kind of a coincidence, in as much as I thought they'd tampered with all the drinks bottles, and therefore, just randomly, it got into his blood system. Now we know, which makes more sense, there was an actual active inside man. Yeah? Days before the fight, allegedly, I've got to say this because what we know is Justin Fortune has actually sued Freddie Roach in the past. And this just goes to show, this guy is quite amazing, really. I did a video yesterday. Justin Fortune has been fired, and he alleges that he's leaving or he's been fired because he's been arguing with Freddie Roach. Now, if you look at the history, Justin Fortune and Freddie Roach have been involved in several legal cases. So really, is it a stretch? We know that Fortune and your man's Freddie Roach ain't getting along. If all the people, think about this, if all the people in Manny Pacquiao's camp, who would be the guy, if there was going to be a guy to be an inside man, to shill, and to be a state-sponsored PBC hitman, who would it be? Would it be the man who's had multiple cases against Team Pacquiao, essentially? Or would it be someone else? Oops. Yeah? Oh, don't tell me. Oh, no, it's a coincidence, YB. Oh, no. Yeah, no, you're always making up your sources. Oops. Yeah? What we know is Boo Boy hasn't sued Freddie Roach. And by the way, Freddie Roach hasn't sued Boo Boy. So why is it this black sheep all of a sudden is being connected? And then, to add insult to injury, never mind speculation, after my video went out yesterday, breaking the news that Fortune had been sacked, a Team Pacquiao representative reached out to me and said, Justin Fortune is getting out in front of the narrative, saying, oh yeah, I was sacked because I've been arguing with Freddie Roach, but really, the truth is, and he doesn't want the truth to be out there, which makes sense, the real reason he's been sacked is because Team Pacquiao have got suspicions that your man's Fortune was involved with this drink rigging. Now, people will say things like, YB, well, if they think that, why aren't they suing Justin Fortune? Well, number one, we know Justin Fortune, he's filed legal cases against Team Pacquiao before. So Team Pacquiao don't want to go out there publicly making allegations they can't prove. And what we know is now, it's 4 weeks later. And unfortunately, these designer substances, these designer cramping agents, they're designer, which means likely they're short acting. I mean, there's no telling. Who knows? It could be literally 2-3 hours later and it's untraceable. So even if they'd have known within 24 hours, there's no telling. I haven't seen the substance. I haven't seen the molecular makeup, no doubt. Yeah? But nonetheless, what we do know is, it's now 3-4 weeks later, there's no chance. So Team Pacquiao, yeah, they've fired Fortune because of their suspicions, but they can't come out publicly and make a big song and dance about it, like Deontay Wilder did. Because unlike Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, when Deontay Wilder made his claims, Fury was happy to just accept it and just take it and laugh at Deontay Wilder. But Justin Fortune, he's already sued Team Pacquiao. He's already sued Freddie Roach before. And that's quite a big defamation claim. So if Team Pacquiao were to come out publicly and say, oh, this, that, the other, and that's what I've got to keep saying, allegedly. This is what I'm telling you, man, it's allegedly. We don't know this. We know it. Yeah, but listen, it's alleged. How about that? Just in case it's goofy. He mad. He been exposed. Yeah? It's what for me, yeah. What I don't get is, if you ever noticed this, things always fall into place, don't they? Is it you man tell me, is it a coincidence? A day after the fight, I broke the news that the PBC, one of my sources inside PBC told me he'd heard Spence-Haymon had been playing with the drinks. You tell me, is it a coincidence? And then 3 weeks later, we've got a man's being fired. And then that man's, who's been fired, was pictured almost forcing a drink in there. I've never ever seen 2 drinksmen. Have you? Call me a liar. Have you ever seen, of all the things in a fight, yeah, in a fighter's corner you have 1 minute. You don't have 10 minutes where, let's all grab a drinks bottle and play. What? You're all supposed to have fixed purposes. You got this random dude with a drink. I'm sorry, it's too, for me, yeah, it makes too much sense now. It makes way too much sense. But like I was saying, Team Pacquiao can't come up publicly because your man's Fortuna will file a case. And unfortunately, at this point, 3 weeks later, they can't prove it. Yeah, but it's what you call, right now, because we can't, the blood and the urine isn't going to be able to prove there's some sort of cramping agent in there. And by the way, let's talk about the cramping agent itself. What cramping agent is a substance which induces cramp. Now, a cramp, what we know is cramp is dehydration, which can be electrolytes driven and or water driven. So a cramping agent, if you can block the channel of absorption from the blood into the muscles, if you can block that electrolyte absorption, boom, you're going to get a cramp. Now, YB, what are you talking about? You know, he was getting cramps because that's the thing. Justin Fortune has alleged now, in the breakup, I've covered this. If you might want to check out the video of Justin Fortune's statement, he made a big monologue yesterday about why he believed he was fired. Like I said, he's just trying to cloud the narrative. He wants to essentially distance himself as far as he can away from the truth. He don't want to be, he don't want to be leaving things to chance. He don't want to be leaving things to your man, no IB, to come out and expose the truth. He's trying to get out in front of it. Fair play to him. I say touche. HITMAN and Spence have trained him well. Yeah, hats off to him. That's what I'll be doing too. Oh yeah, no. Yeah, this is how crazy it is. This is how down bad your man Justin Fortune is. Justin Fortune was blaming a physio for massaging Pacquiao's legs. That's where he's trying to deflect to. Justin Fortune was fired, yeah, for allegedly being involved with the tampering of Pacquiao's drink. And in response to being fired, Fortune is alleging, oh no, it wasn't me. It wasn't my drink tampering, which we've got evidence of you doing. All in the video with a drink bottle, pouring it down his throat. Yeah, it was. I know whatever lie. You can see the video part yesterday. Justin Fortune said it wasn't him. It was the doctor giving Pacquiao's legs a massage. Wow, have you ever heard something so mad in your life? I've never heard of a massage giving people cramps. In fact, it's paradoxical. It's the inverse. Massages loosen legs off. I've never heard of it. But this is how desperate the PBC are. This is how desperate Justin Fortune is to keep himself away from the truth. And I can't even blame him, because guess what? If it really came out, if the truth did come out, yeah, he best be making up these stories about massages causing cramps. Because what he can't afford to happen, he'd be going to jail for that kind of stuff. You can't be doing that. You can't be poisoning people's drinks, allegedly. Yeah? But like I was saying, I want to explain the whole cramping part one more time, because people have been skeptical. Oh, you know, it can't. That's not what it was. It was this. It was that. Listen, if it was Pacquiao's training, yeah, he would have been having them for the week before, wouldn't he? Cramps don't just magically appear in the middle of in the second round of a fight. Fair enough, yeah. 42 years old. If you want to say, oh, it was round 8 YB and his legs was tired, whatever. Cramps don't appear in the first or second round, because really, Pacquiao was the evidence we've got. Pacquiao was complaining about the cramps in the second round. He's already complaining at that point, which tells me in the first round. And to be honest, the whole from round 1 and round 2, Pacquiao weren't really moving the same, which tells me his legs weren't feeling too right. And if any one of you man has suffered from cramps before, you'll know that it normally builds up. Your legs feel tight, and then ultimately you get a cramp. So in round 1, his legs was already tight. Yeah. So where's that come from? It's cause and effect. I believe Justin Fortune was plying Pacquiao with his tampered water for 2, 3, 4 hours before the fight, and then during the fight, or sometime before the fight, 30 minutes, however many minutes. I'm not sure how. Obviously, he would have been told by the Spence-Haymon cabal exactly when to load him up. You know what? Yeah, start supplying him with this fluid an hour before or whatever. He'll know that. We don't know this. We don't know the specifics. What we do know is Pacquiao. We've got footage. The video's on it. We've got footage of your man's Pacquiao at 42 years old dancing around like a UFO. Where was the cramps then? And the crazy thing is, Freddie Roach has already said, oh, Manny Pacquiao was running loads. He was running loads, and this is the crazy thing, again, Justin Fortune is saying, oh, it was because he was running loads and this, that, the other. Well, wait a minute. How can he be running loads if he's been suffering with cramps all week? Oops. He wasn't. That's the point. He wasn't suffering with cramps all week. He was only suffering with cramps, magically, an hour before the fight and into the fight. And in fact, we know it was in an hour into the fight because Justin Fortuna said that Pacquiao requested a massage on his legs an hour before, which tells me his legs was already starting to cramp. Oops. Why weren't these legs cramping for the weeks before? Yeah? If it's about age, if it's about overtraining, I'll put to you, how was he able to overtrain? How was he able to do all this running and whatnot on the Thursday before the fight if his legs was all cramped up? Oops. I'll put to you, his legs weren't cramped up. His legs were just fine. And I believe he was in one of the best shapes ever. We've seen the footage. A 42-year-old man, yeah, or 40, however old he is, he don't go running in the hills and whatnot for nothing. If you're feeling old and whatnot, what's the last thing you're going to do? Try and burn your legs out? You're going to be doing nothing, ain't you? Oh, I feel old. Pacquiao was training like never before. He even said it himself. I'm feeling like I was 19 again. Oops. So how does a man go from feeling like 19 to cramping up in the second round? I'll tell you how. Your man's Justin Fortune allegedly knows how. Yeah? All in a drink. That's how. And if you don't agree, you explain the maths to me then. Explain how a man who's feeling better than ever, and the evidence of footage is there to prove feeling better than ever, running better than ever, how does he go from that to legs dropped to bits? And if you actually listen to Pacquiao and Boo Boy in the corner, you can hear the panic in Boo Boy's voice. It's all a big shock. Yeah? If you've been suffering with cramps for 2 weeks, it's not going to be a shock, is it? You're going to know, you know what, we're nursing cramps here. The way Boo Boy and Roach and Pacquiao are in the corner, it's all a big shock and they're all confused. Which again, why would they be confused if it's a big long-term thing? I'll tell you why they're confused. Because your man's was looking better than ever for 8-week camp, and he gets on fight night, and magically his legs are shot and cramped. And again, it's not even just shot really. Shot is one thing. His legs ain't shot. His legs are cramped. It's a very particular symptom. No doubt. So your man's Fortune has been outed here. Yeah? A Team Pacquiao Don representative. I can't obviously give you the name, because you know what will happen. If I give you the name, yeah, your man's Fortune, you're going to file another case against this individual. But just believe it. Trust it. It makes perfect sense. Your man's Team Pacquiao source reached out to me and told me, listen, YB. Yeah, I saw your video covering the fact we fired Fortune. I want you to know, I've been watching the videos you've been putting out over the last month, and you've been bang on the nail, hit nail, bang on the head, no doubt. And he was the inside man. He is who we believe to be the inside man, who's playing with the drinks. Yeah? Simple as that. No doubt. And by the way, let me say it right now. If you might disagree or you YB making things up, just give me another. You explain it then. Explain it. Yeah? Don't talk. Explain it. Explain why my man's getting fired all of a sudden. Explain why my man's getting fired and then trying to make out it was massages that caused the cramps. Come on. You know someone's down bad when they're coming up with them kind of excuses. Wow.